I'm here with Jamar Alexis, the founder and president of Modern Sports Media Group, here to talk about MSMG, also here to celebrate his 1,000th YouTube subscriber, as well as his 1,000th Instagram follower. Jamar, thank you. Nice to have you.
For sure.
Really interested to hear what you have to say. I'm sure that people are interested to hear about MSMG, as well as the growth of MSMG, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to gain from this.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so start off here. Just tell me a little bit about how this all started. We are a year in now, like I said, 1,000 subscribers and followers. Everybody started with nothing. Now you're here after this short period of time, if you really think about it. Just tell us a little bit about all that.
For sure. So to start off, I mean, I can't do this interview without thanking all of the people that helped me to get here. Thanking God, first and foremost, but all of the people, all of the support that we've had throughout the year. Like you said, it's been a crazy year. This all started really nothing to do with Modern Sports Media Group at all. The idea, the concept of owning a sports media company was nowhere in my mind or in our minds. I just wanted a basketball podcast. That's how this started. Me and my best friend just debating different sports topics and primarily basketball, obviously. And we were both very determined to win all the time. So that was a major thing, just arguing. And one day I had the idea, like, why don't we just record our arguments?
And even that's grown throughout the years, because that actually started just your voices on a podcast.
Right.
And grew to videos.
For sure. So yeah, after we decided to actually make a podcast, just like you said, it continued to grow. We received tremendous support from family and friends and people telling us, make a YouTube channel. You know, we want to see you arguing. We want to see your reactions, things like that. So that's how the beginnings of Modern Sports Media Group, if you will. We had, subscribers and people started watching our YouTube videos, and we started getting better and better and started to increase our production levels, increase sets, gain sponsors, things of that nature, and it's really elevated. I mean, that's probably our premier production today.
And that's an important thing. You mentioned the sponsors. Not a lot of young up-and-coming companies have that type of support right off the bat. Mm-hmm. That would typically just suggest that you had support starting off quickly.
Yeah. One of the goals that we had, me and Mikey, who is obviously the co-host of the Nothing But Net show, mm-hmm. going into it, I always wanted a sponsor by the third episode, which is extremely ambitious and not really common or likely, I would say. But that's something that I always wanted. I wanted a sponsor by the third episode, and we were able to do it just through reaching out to local small businesses that we knew, different small business owners that I knew, that he knew, just reaching out, trying to tell them, hey, we're reaching this audience. We're nothing major, obviously, but we're trying to get sponsored. Let's do it, and that's a goal that we were able to attain.
Other than your fans and your family and your coworkers or your colleagues, as you would probably say, what do you attribute most to your growth as a company so far in this year?
That's a very interesting question. I would probably have to say just hard work. As a company overall. Well, first I'll speak about the Nothing But Net show. Me and Mikey really, worked extremely hard, hitting the phone lines, sending out texts, letting people know, hey, this is something that we started and we would like for you to watch and support. Talking, more about the actual company, Modern Sports Media Group now. It's the same pattern, something that we've done. So obviously we changed. The Modern Sports Media Group pages now used to be the Nothing But Net show pages. So that's how everything started. Well, first the Nothing But Net podcast, and then the Nothing But Net show, and now Modern Sports Media Group. So we already had a little bit of a following, primarily for basketball. That was a very difficult transition to make because, in a lot of people's minds, we were simply a basketball podcast. So the transition from being a basketball podcast to being a full-blown sports media company covering several different sports was a different transition to make just because of the fan base that we had already accrued. But again, through hard work, just reaching out, trying to get different sports teams, at the high school level, trying to get different followers and things like that, we were able to gain some growth, and things are doing really well now. As you mentioned at the beginning, just surpassed 1,000 YouTube subscribers, 1,000 Instagram followers. It's a major accomplishment that we're proud of, for sure.
And I'm sure you would also attribute the fact that you've kind of diversified throughout the year, because
100%.
like you said, you were just basketball, but not only have you reached out to other sports, you've kind of gone away from podcast in
100%.
some senses. So, like, you
Yep.
covered the camp, you have highlight tapes for specific high school players.
Right. So you hit it right on the dot. We have diversified our company tremendously. Now, just like you mentioned, we're covering sports events. We're creating highlight tapes for different athletes, and we're looking to do several more things. We're hosting events as well. On October 19th, we're going to be hosting our the Nothing But Net Show's Ultimate 3-on-3 Challenge. So that's going to be a great event, fun event where the community can come out. We're partnered with a non-profit organization called Neuroatypical Neighborhood, and they're going to be there as well, bringing a guest speaker to talk about mental health, and of course there's going to be a cash prize and getting free merch for the kids as well. So we're just really trying to grow and diversify ourselves and just continue to establish ourselves as a premier sports media company.
So you mentioned how you've diversified by adding new sports, adding new writers, adding new forms of media in the form of the highlight tapes, the camp presences, now the tournament as well. How do you think that's helped your brand?
Oh, for sure. Before I answer that, one of the most important diversifications that we did that I forgot to mention was our Instagram TV series, our reaction series, and that's something that's become increasingly popular. Basically, the idea was to get live reactions. You know, you're watching a game and you just watched a buzzer-beating 3 by Steph Curry, or a crazy heave Hail Mary by Aaron Rodgers caught for the win. To quickly take a video and capture your reaction live. And we have different reaction series going on for different sports. So that's just another way that we've diversified, for sure. But to answer your question, that's improved our brand a ton. I mean, we've definitely shifted our business model. At the beginning, again, we weren't really even thinking business at all. We were just trying to make a sports or a basketball podcast. That's all it was, like I mentioned. Now, we're a full-blown media company that's wanting to cover several different sports, and primarily at the high school level. And that's a major difference that we have made in our business model, because we realized everyone talks about the professional athletes. Everyone talks even about the college athletes as well, even though lesser than the professional athletes. But there's so much talent in the South Florida area, and they're not getting enough coverage. And we're looking to change that.
So we've talked about the side of MSMG that all your fans have seen in terms of the YouTube presence, Instagram. Now we're going to get into a little bit more about your role as the president, the founder. So talk a little bit about how you've funded the expansion of MSMG throughout the year.
Got to talk about the monies, huh?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, money is an important aspect of any business. As far as our expansion, a lot of it, really, not even just saying this, or I'm being completely genuine when I say a lot of it has just been hard work, not even money related at all. It's been a lot of just networking, talking to different people, going out of our comfort zones, speaking to strangers, all of that good stuff. But of course, money has been a major part of it. Some of the ways that we've tried to fund our company has been through merchandise, through sponsors, like I mentioned. So we did have sponsors with our show and another production that we had as well. We've made merchandise, we've sold t-shirts, and we're coming out with a nice little surprise for the fans. I'll go ahead and share it, why not?
Might as well now. You're at 1,000 followers.
Might as well. So for this upcoming season, the NBA season, we're actually going to be coming up with Nothing But Net shirts and gear and all of that in different teams' colorways. So you can get your favorite NBA team colorways. If you want the Miami Heat edition Mikey has, if you want different whatever your favorite team is, the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Lakers, whatever your favorite team is, we can go ahead and make those colorways. So that's something new that we're having. But So that's an important way of how we funded our expansion for sure. Because when you're expanding, you have to invest in, even if it's little things like business cards. We have little company business cards and promoting your posts on social media, things like that. So but most of the investment that's been made is just time and sweat and hard work. But of course, money's important.
Many people may not know, but you're actually incorporated. So MSMG is not just some kid posting blogs online and things he wrote up. This is a legitimate corporation that comes with advantages as well as its own challenges.
For sure.
So my next question for you is, with all that involved, what are your short-term financial projections? Mm-hmm. And with that, how do you see MSMG growing in the future?
That's a great question. For sure, being incorporated comes with its advantages as well as its disadvantages. One of the disadvantages being the fees, right? But we sat down as a team and really discussed the pros and the cons, and we decided that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages for us, especially when we're trying to cover events. We need to show that we're legit. That way we can get media passes, that way we can get rights, things like that. As far as the financial aspect of it, it's an investment. I feel as though anything meaningful in life, you're going to have to invest in. The saying, hard work pays off. Hard work isn't just, athletes putting in work on the court or in the gym. It isn't just, doing different physical aspects. It's a lot of time, and it's a lot of mental investment as well. And that's what we're doing. So 2019, we set out a goal this year. And we weren't concerned about the monetary aspect of it at all. 2019, our goal was one word: growth. That's it. We wanted to have, I won't tell the exact amounts, we wanted to have a certain number of followers, a certain number of subscribers on each platform by the end of the year. And we're well on our way to doing so, and that was our biggest goal. Money's going to come. Let's be honest. Money comes, money goes. If we keep doing what we're doing at a high level, which I believe we're capable of, the money will come. And that's not our primary concern right now.
And it's interesting because from what I've seen, this has been all just putting in work. And we live in a world where a lot of things are immediate gratification. And it doesn't seem like you're looking for that. It seems like you are okay with things taking time. But at the same time, things have gone pretty fast. You have 1,000 followers now. It's been less than a year.
I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't all smooth sailing. There's been some rough times. It's been a little less than a year, so it might not seem that way, but we've definitely gone through some bumps in the road and some points where we're just like, do we even want to keep doing this? And when I keep saying me, I mean my vice president Michael Garcia, as well as myself, just sitting down, having conversations, looking at that investment that we're making monetarily, our time, how it's affecting our lives, because all the minutes that we put into this, we're taking away from something else. So we've had some long, hard talks, but at the end of the day, we decided that this is what we wanted to do, and we wanted to be successful. So anything that you want to be successful, you got to invest in, like I said, with your time. So that's something that we decided.
Do you have a projection, or would you say this is more of a day by day, or maybe not day by day, but week by week, month by month operation, where you're kind of just like relying on the passion, relying on the hard work to take you to that next step? Because to me, it seems like it's been like that, at least so far. And what is the plausibility? Like, how plausible do you think it would be to continue on that path forever?
We definitely have goals. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we don't want to make a single dollar ever, right? But we definitely have goals. Not necessarily specific monetarily amounts right now, but more so we just want to, like I said, 2019 was all about growth. That was the one goal. So when 2020 comes around, we already know we're going to have a talk January 2nd, which is we incorporate on the 2nd. So that's going to be our official one-year anniversary as an official company. We started working towards this before, but we're going to have a talk and then set out next year's goals. And next year, let me just say, we'll probably have a little bit of a higher income than this year, for sure.
So now that we've talked about MSMG in the last year and all of its growth financially, in terms of your followers, like we've said, you have 1,000 subscribers now, which was a big goal for you guys. How do you see your brand moving into the next chapter?
Well, first of all, I would phrase it a little differently. I'd say at the moment, we're moving on to the next page rather than the next chapter, and I'll explain. I feel that hitting 1,000 followers and subscribers was a goal for sure, but that wasn't the goal. You know what I mean? We're still looking to grow. We're still looking to build that fan base, build that support group, all of that, make new partnerships with different companies and nonprofits, things of that nature. So for sure, we are getting there, but we're not done yet, and that's something that's important for our entire team to know. But going into the future, I really feel as though we're onto something, and I know we're onto something, and I know that through hard work, and if we just continue doing what we're doing, keeping God first, working extremely hard, and trusting in the process, for lack of a better term, I'm sure that we'll get there.
All right, Jamar, in closing, is there anything you want everybody to know about MSMG?
The biggest thing that I want people to know is that we are nowhere near finished, and we are coming. That's the biggest message that I want to send out to everyone. People already in the industry, people that may be looking on, fans, supporters, or people that maybe don't like what we're doing. That's the biggest thing, the biggest message that I want to get across. We are coming, and we're putting in the work, and we're putting in the time, and we're putting in the sweat, and we have a vision, and we're coming for it for sure. We are not near being done.